The JBL Boombox is a pricey speaker, there's no denying that. It's smaller than the Sony XB60, but costs the same as the much larger Sony XB90. So how does the JBL Boombox compare to these two Sony speakers? We're about to find out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to watch either of these speakers' individual reviews, tap here after you're done watching this video. And there will be a sound test at the end of this video too. Like I just said, the JBL Boombox is a pricey speaker. It currently basically retails for $450. For the same $450, you can also get the much larger Sony XB90. But if you're not interested in such a large speaker, you can get the Sony XB60 for $350. If you want to pick either of these speakers up, I'll have links in the description below and I'll keep them updated so you can get the best deal possible. In this group, the JBL Boombox is the smallest speaker, closely followed by the Sony XB60 and the Sony XB90. It's just gigantic. The JBL Boombox is also the lightest, weighing in at 11.5 pounds or 5.25 kilos, whereas the Sony XB60 weighs in at 17.64 pounds or 8 kilos. And then there's the Sony XB90 weighing in at a monstrous 36.5 pounds or 16.56 kilos. Seriously, it's a workout just moving this thing around. It's also worth mentioning the JBL Boombox is the most durable in this group. It's IPX7 certified, so it's not going to matter if it gets wet or somehow falls into a pool. Heck, I bet you can even use it as a floaty. I'm not saying that you should, but it'd be cool if you did. It's also wrapped in a nylon weave that repels most stains and really doesn't show wear and tear, whereas both the Sony XB60 and XB90 are using relatively soft plastic that does get scratched very easily, and they're not waterproof like the JBL Boombox. Regarding speaker setup, all of these speakers only shoot out sound through the front. The JBL Boombox has dual 4-inch diameter woofers, dual 0.79-inch diameter tweeters, and 4.17-inch diameter passive radiators on each side. The Sony XB60 is equipped with dual 5-inch diameter woofers and dual 2-inch diameter tweeters. And the Sony XB90 has dual 7-inch diameter woofers and 3 2.36-inch diameter tweeters. But at any given time, you're only using 2 of those 3 tweeters. When the speaker's upright, you're using the top 2 tweeters, and when the speaker's laid flat, you're using the 2 tweeters on the side. And obviously, these speakers sound very different. The JBL Boombox is the most balanced speaker in this lineup. It has a much wider soundstage and significantly better instrument separation. And the JBL Boombox really puts an emphasis on vocals and treble. Both the Sony XB60 and XB90 perform the same, and just overall sound clarity isn't as good as the JBL Boombox. Their soundstage is much more narrow and there's barely any instrument separation, and vocalists routinely get drowned out, but they do have a lot more bass and sub-bass, so they're still good for hip-hop or EDM. And when set at max volume, obviously the XB90 gets the loudest. At max volume, the XB90's average decibel reading is in the mid-90s range. The second loudest speaker is the JBL Boombox with an average decibel reading in the mid-80s. The Sony XB60 also has an average decibel reading in the mid-80s, but the JBL Boombox gets a touch louder. But at that max volume, the JBL Boombox is just blaring out vocals and treble, whereas with the Sony XB60, there's a lot more bumping bass. So listening to the Sony XB60 is a lot more fun than the JBL Boombox. With the Sony XB60, you can literally feel the music, whereas with the Boombox, you're missing that extra element or dimension. I don't know, I hope that makes sense. All of these speakers also have built-in batteries, but they perform very differently. Real-world use with the JBL Boombox set in indoor mode and the volume at a moderate level for personal listening, I've averaged 21 hours of battery life. With the volume set at 100%, I've averaged 17 hours of battery life. But neither the Sony XB90 or the Sony XB60 come remotely close. Real-world battery life on the Sony XB90 with the light feature turned on in its normal listening mode and at a moderate volume, I've averaged 9 hours of battery life. And with the Sony XB60, under the same circumstances, I've averaged 7 hours of battery life. And if you use either of these two speakers at max volume, you'll be lucky if you get a battery life of 4 hours. So the JBL Boombox's battery life absolutely demolishes the battery lives on both Sony speakers. Ports on these speakers are also a little different, but worth mentioning. The JBL Boombox has two USB ports so you can charge two of your own devices, and there's even an audio jack. Both the Sony speakers only have one USB port and there is no audio jack. But through that one USB port, you can charge your own device and also use it as a wired connection. Except if you're using an Apple device. If you have an Apple device, you can only use a Bluetooth connection with either Sony speaker. But the Sony speakers also have RCA ports so you can daisy chain them to other speakers or add them to your home audio system. And if it matters, there's also a mic input. But more importantly, both Sony speakers have been upgraded with aptX audio. So if you're using a supported device like a premium Android phone, you'll notice the wireless quality is much clearer than using your standard Bluetooth connection. And finally, the most obvious difference between the JBL Boombox and both Sony speakers are the light features on the front. And if you don't like them, you can just turn them off. But the light feature is nice to have, especially if you're going to be hosting parties late into the night. And through Sony's Music Center app, you can select from a few different light modes. And through the Music Center app, you can also adjust the EQ of either of these speakers. You can either select from a few pre-made ones, or you can even make your own. It's nice to have that option because on the JBL Boombox, JBL's Connect app does not let you do that, so you'll have to use a third-party app. So to wrap things up, the JBL Boombox is a pricey speaker for what it is. It sounds good, but the premium price tag it carries is all about portability, durability, a clean design, and a very long battery life. It's good for personal listening, but when the volume is all the way up and you want to get things bumping, it's just missing that oomph. Whereas with the Sony XB60 and XB90, it's all about bass, and listening to them is a whole different kind of experience. But they don't sound as clear as the JBL Boombox, but they are better suited for hosting parties and listening to bass-heavy music, and they do offer that extra wow factor with the light feature on the front. Personally, I prefer the JBL Boombox for various reasons, but I do wish it got louder. Now remember, this isn't a full review on either of these speakers. I'm just trying to point out the most important differences between these speakers so I can help you with your purchase decision. If you want to learn more about either of these speakers, watch the full reviews by tapping on the icon in the top right. And here's the sound test. As always, these speakers are playing in the same room, streaming from the same device, and at the same distance away from the same microphone, and at the same average decibel level, so hopefully the only difference is sound quality. Also, the JBL Boombox is in indoor mode, and both Sony speakers have stamina mode turned off. If you don't know the difference between those modes, then you should watch the full review.
we're bored of regularities. Living all the dreams, playing all the games, and getting high in love. They can chase us down, but we will always win. Leading every dance, feeling every touch, and getting high in love. We're invincible. We're invincible. Don't you see? We're invincible. We're invincible. We're invincible. We're invincible. We're invincible. Let's escape the gray and let the colors ring. Turn the shit we do and our words into reality. 'Cause you and me are meant to be what they don't see. Never feeling wrong 'cause we don't belong. And getting high enough. We're invincible. We're invincible. Don't you see? We're invincible. We're invincible. We're invincible. We're invincible. We're invincible.
Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It helps out more than you realize. For more product reviews and deal alerts, check out jimcaddy.net. If you want to support the channel, pick up a shirt. And I'll catch you next time.